For 12 long years, Ada lived with shame. At first, it was just a strange, constant flow of blood. Her clothes soaked at odd hours, her bedsheets stained daily. She thought it was stress, maybe malaria, maybe a bad cycle. But as weeks turned into months and months into years, it became clear this wasn't ordinary. She was 23 when it began, vibrant, full of dreams, a dedicated deeper life sister who led worship every Sunday. But by the time she turned 30, she was a shadow, isolated, labeled, forgotten. They called her cursed. At first, she kept it a secret. She used thick cloths, pads, anything she could afford. She prayed and fasted. She memorized healing scriptures. But nothing changed. Instead, she began losing weight, constantly fatigued, pale. Her skin lost color. Her eyes lost light. When she visited the clinic, the doctor only said, "This is complicated. We'll try something else." That something else kept changing. New tests, new pills, new bills. She sold her laptop, her phone, her clothes. Nothing mattered anymore. The blood kept flowing. Soon, church members began to notice. She missed rehearsals, couldn't stand for long. One day during a Sunday service, she got up to testify about God's faithfulness, but a sister whispered behind her, she should go and solve her problems first. She's not clean. Ada heard it, and it broke her. She went home that day, locked the door, and cried from morning till dusk. "I'm not a witch," she whispered. "I've only been bleeding. Why me, Lord?" But heaven felt silent. By her 10th year of battling the condition, even her own family had distanced themselves. "She can't use our chairs," her auntie said once during a family gathering. "We don't know what she carries." Ada went home that night walking in the rain, alone. No umbrella, no ride, only tears and thunder. She began to avoid everyone. She stopped coming to church. Her phone was off. Her neighbors stopped knocking. But one night, hungry and weak, she opened her small secondhand laptop and clicked on YouTube. A revival service was playing. A preacher shouted, "Faith doesn't need permission. It only needs desperation." The woman with the issue of blood didn't wait to be called. She reached out. Ada froze. That was her. A woman rejected, desperate, uninvited. Something inside her stirred. That night, Ada prayed like never before. Not for a husband, not for money, not for fame, just healing. She went into 3 days of dry fasting. No food, just water and worship. And on the 3rd day, she whispered, "Lord, if I can just touch you, I don't need anybody, just you." The next Sunday, her local church hosted a youth revival. The theme was, "Power must change hands." Ada hadn't been to church in 8 months. She was weak, but something pushed her. She wrapped herself in a long skirt, covered her head, and walked the 3 kilometers to church. No transport, just silent faith. At the entrance, one usher looked at her coldly. "You still came?" Ada said nothing. She walked past him quietly, tears in her eyes. She wasn't there for man. She came to touch Jesus. As the worship began, Ada knelt at the back. The choir sang, "He touched me," and the church trembled with praise. But Ada didn't wait for anyone to lay hands. She lifted her hands high and cried out, "Jesus, if you are truly here, I touch you now. Virtue must flow." She fell to the ground, not because anyone pushed her, but because heaven did. She felt something shift. She stood up, checked herself, dry. For the first time in 12 years, dry. No bleeding, no pain, nothing. She shouted. She ran to the altar. People tried to hold her back, but the pastor raised his hand and said, "Let her come. Let her speak." With the microphone shaking in her hands and her voice trembling, she said, "I bled for 12 years. I lost my family, my friends, my dignity. But today, I touched Jesus, and he touched me back." People began to cry. Even the sister who mocked her fell on her knees. The power of God had moved, not because of a prophet, but because of faith. That evening, Ada went back to the hospital. The same doctor who told her it was complicated ran tests 3 times. Same results. There's no bleeding. Your womb is fine. Your blood count is restoring. This is a miracle. Weeks later, Ada returned to her church, not as a victim, but a vessel. She testified again. Some people clapped, others cried, and some just watched in silence. But Ada knew they didn't need to understand, because her healing didn't come through them. It came through Jesus. She's now married to a medical lab scientist who heard her testimony on YouTube and reached out. Together, they run a Christian counseling group called Faith Without Permission, helping young women battling silent health issues.